Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Road Atlanta and welcome to the penultimate race meeting of the season in the Club73 Touring Car Championship. We have got, 4 races to go, and tonight here at Road Atlanta we'll be having a sprint race and a feature race as we get ever closer to finding out who will be our champions in the Kia, in the Mustang and in the Jetta series. Well, welcome everybody. Adam Bath here with you tonight. Joining me in the commentary box, two stalwarts in iRacing. One who's raced in the World Championship Grand Prix Series. He's raced in the upcoming Road Pro Series, and he's even raced in the BSRTC as well. It's Alex Simpson. And Alex, Road Atlanta, your thoughts on this circuit? It's probably one of the most undulating circuits that we've got currently on the iRacing service. It's going to be a tricky one tonight.
Yeah, hello everybody, good to be here as always. Really like Road Altanta. It was a circuit that I hated for absolutely donkeys, but yeah, just really started to love it. I can't remember what it was. I know it went here in the Grand Prix Series, and I tested it with absolute vengeance. And I think it might have been the World Cup or something like that we did. It didn't go particularly well, but I enjoyed circulating there and really getting familiar with the track, and the pace really came along, and where I'd been lacking in previous seasons around here as well. So now I really enjoy it. So that really shows you where my mindset is with a track. I like it if I'm good at it. I hate it if I'm not. So, but actually, it is a great circuit. It's got obviously a couple of really high speed sections that you can get some good passing done. Some blind corners, lovely flow in sort of S's sector, sort of sector 2. That's great. Really high curbs that you've got to be careful of as well. And some really tight, twisty corners, some cambered corners, and some adverse camber ones as well that just like to push you wide. So you've got a bit of everything. And it's a challenge as a driver and as an engineer to set the car up as well. So lots of compromises needed.
Also joining us in the commentary box today is an expert in the Daytona prototypes, and that is Sam Fitzpatrick. And Sam, obviously the IMSA Sports Car Series heads to this circuit pretty much every single season. I'm sure the Daytona prototype handles well around here, but for the Kias especially, that S's section, the car's going to be understeering quite a bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. I think you guys were down at Suzuka the other day, and it's going to be quite similar to that with the change of direction and the long sweeping corners in that first part of the lap. So it's not going to be particularly easy for the Kias, and neither the Mustangs either. You need a good rear end through those S's, and we've seen throughout this season that the Mustang can be difficult to control at times. So we should see quite a lot of action. It's going to be difficult for those drivers to navigate through that section throughout these 2 races.
Oh, you will have noticed that in the commentary box that we don't have the winner in the Mustangs last week, Andrew Woodhouse, here. He should be back for the final race meeting of the season. But Alex, that was a pretty good job by Woody last week at Monza. He was able to get a first, and I think it was a second as well in race 2.
Yeah, first and a second. Good all round meeting. So. Yeah, good to see him in the car, skiving tonight, of course, but we'll let him off. But yeah, back for the final round of the season, so it should be a good one. Just to talk about the people that are here, it's a pretty low turnout today. We've got 18 cars out there as well. Obviously, lots going on. The Neo obviously kicked off today, so there's a few people running in that as well. Just looks like getting a little bit towards the end of the season. People it's end of the season and end of the year as well. And I think people are starting to think, oh, come on, get this to the end. And like I said, Road Atlanta, not always everybody's favourite. Bit of a diminished grid actually. A bit of a shame.
Yeah, I've got 8 Kias tonight. We've got 4, I think, Mustangs. We could be down to 3, but and we've also got 6 Jettas. So it's going to be interesting to see how we get on. 17 cars on the circuit. We'll watch out for that. 15-minute race, the sprint race, and then half an hour feature race with a mandatory pit stop as well, which always throws up some unpredictability. We're only through the championship standings, and in that, it's pretty predictable. Michael Hall leading the way, the reigning series champion in his Kia, 46 points ahead of Stephen Baxter in second, who did pretty well at Suzuka in the BSRTC this week. winner of the AM Championship and the Formula Renault as well. Chris Wood in third, and fourth Dennis Melcher with Miguel Freitas in fifth, his Team Mad teammate, and Sam Reed sixth, Mark Woodhouse in seventh, Scott Malcolm eighth, Pete Harrod has done a few races as well, the two-time Club Series champion, and Sean Gardner in 10th. Moving over to the Mustangs, it's still pretty close there, considering there's not too many drivers competing in it. Dale Green and John Roberts just 10 points apart, and it's Dale Green that's come out on top in qualifying. So we'll watch out for that through the night, because that is a battle that could be going all the way through to the final race meeting at Donington next week. And Stuart Atkinson is in third, not racing here today. The only other Mustang is Clinton Bell, and he's 7th in the championship, so he is out of the running for any of that. And then over in the Jetters, Tim Mawson and Adam Hedgecock just 14 points apart, and then a few points behind him it's David Ayres, who isn't. He is racing today, but he is at the back of the Jetta field, and Robert Lundgren in 4th, and Dawson in 5th. So, Alex, in terms of the Kias, Stephen Baxter's got to have a good race meeting tonight. However, just looking from the qualifying standings, he is starting behind Michael Hall, so he's really got to have a stellar performance this week if he's going to have a shot in with the championship.
Yeah, and we've seen him have good race meetings though, so it's not impossible for him. Very, very quick driver, so yeah, just needs to get himself past to Hall. Maybe a good start can get him there and give him the confidence to go on in the feature race a bit later on.
Sam, have you seen the qualifying standings? We've got 1 and 2, McFadden and Wood, exactly the same time.
Yeah, pretty rare that that happens. Certainly hasn't happened this season. So, but the entire top 5 separate by less than a tenth.
Wow,
something that we've seen throughout the season, really. So, it's super competitive series, of course, and yeah, should be really good fighting out there. I think Stuart McFadden managed to get the pole last week out, I think, and managed to get like 2 podiums or something. So he's looking very good from pole position. But Chris Wood, I'm sure, will try to take that position up in the first corner.
Oh yeah, he got the win last week at Monza when everyone else was battling in amongst themselves. The field is now formed. We won't run you through the grid because we're getting ready to go. Here we go then. Race 1 of the day in the Club 73 Touring Car Championship. Stuart McFadden on the pole and Chris Wood second. We're underway. Great start by McFadden as a Kia car that's stalled at the back. It's Tristan Bodice. Thankfully, everybody's got past him without this incident, and you can see Michael Hall going up through the middle. He's trying to take second place already, the reigning series champion and championship leader. Him and Chris Wood make contact as we go through the first corner, and almost getting involved is Miguel Freitas as we head over the top of the hill and into what could be known as Alex Simpson Corner as we go through here. Pretty close indeed, and now through the S's, Freitas and Mark Woodhouse almost going wheel to wheel as we plunge down the hill for the first time, Alex.
Yeah, indeed. Hall with an absolute blinding start as well, moved himself up to second place already. Baxter in 6th, so completely the opposite from what Baxter wanted off of the start.
Yeah, 2 positions game for Michael Hall, already up into second position. He's doing what he needs to do to get those points in the championship. Tristan Bodice already starting to work his way back through the Jetters. Alexis Molina leads the way there from Tim Mawson. That's where they started on the grid. And in the Mustangs, Dale Green continues to lead from John Roberts, and there's already been a bit of a gap formed there. But Sam, the Jetters, they're looking pretty close as we go onto the backstraight for the first time between Molina and Mawson.
Yeah, certainly. Molina did well to get pole position from the cheese and wine cars, but if Mawson and Walker were seen throughout this season can work together really well, I'm sure they'll work together today to try to take a 1-2 finish. But I think it's Tim Mawson leading the championship as well, so I wonder if Ryan Walker may just help him. And Tim Mawson's right on Alexis Molina's tail right now, so he's going to look for that move at any opportunity.
John Roberts into the pit lane, Alex. There is a lot of damage to the front left of the car, but I don't know whether that is the reason. It probably is a meatball flag for the boosted driver.
Yeah, I'm just going to put it back on replay, see if we missed something. Didn't have any sort of problems. Was it right at the start or something like that? Because I was surprised to see him down there where he was.
Just going to have a quick look through the replays to see what happened to the BSRTC Pro-Am champion from straight into the pit lane. He's got a new car, obviously. That is the rule in the Club 73 Touring Car Championship. If you do get damage, you do get 1 fast repair. He's back on the circuit now, but he's lost a ton of ground. He's down to 18th position and last now.
Yeah, problems then for for him. Yeah, really not sure what went on there. I didn't see anything in the start as well. It looked relatively clean. Maybe he got a little sideways and got some contact on that front suspension, but yeah, who knows on that one. Chris Wood very close to Hall. Well, the whole Kia field is very, very close. So, apart from Tristan Bottas, of course, who had that failed start. So.
Yeah, coming through the final corner and to complete the second lap of the race already. 12 minutes, just 12 minutes to go. We are flying through the laps here, and in the background it is pretty close between what is Stephen Baxter and Mark Woodhouse. Baxter having a little look at the inside into the first corner, and Mark Woodhouse did jingle a little to the left, to the right a bit there. Some on the entry, and that nearly caught Stephen Baxter out.
Yeah, good defensive driving there from Mark Woodhouse. He got a poor start, started in third position. In third position. Dropped a couple of positions on the start, so he really doesn't want to go down to sixth. And if anything, he's struggling to keep up with the pack ahead. And Stephen Baxter's even going to have a go now around the outside this next corner. He may just try to line it up for a good run down the back straight, but he's gone all the way around the outside. It is very banked, that corner. Now to go around the outside. This one has got a little bit of contact, and that opportunity may have just gone for now, but they're still side by side. Baxter just moving a little bit ahead of Woodhouse, and he may have the inside for the chicane at the end of the straight.
While that battle's going on, Michael Hall's getting very, very close indeed to the back of Stuart McFadden. McFadden moves over to the left. He knows that Hall is going to be there going into the chicane, the hardest braking point on the circuit, and he slots through. But in the background, Baxter, is he through? He is through. And Alex, just by going side by side, we saw it at Monza last week, you lose such a huge amount of time, especially on that straight where the slipstream is so important.
Yeah, 1.4 seconds was what was lost from the guys ahead, so they've got that to catch up. But they're just inside the slipstream area, so they will get a bit of a benefit. And I think Baxter just a little bit quicker than Woodhouse, so we might see them come back together, especially if these front four continue to have a little battle. And gap already down to sort of 1.2, so I'm pretty sure that they will get there, and Woodhouse hopefully should be pulled along for the party. Scott Malcolm dropped off 2.9 seconds as well. Bottas is actually catching back up a little bit, but way too far back to do anything by the end of the race. 10 minutes to go.
We didn't really get time to tell you what the qualifying times were like. As Sam alluded to, it was so close. The times were as follows: a 25.916 for both McFadden and Wood, shades of her F97, I think, in the Formula 1, where the top three were exactly the same. Mark Woodhouse about 0.05 of a second off that, and then just 100th between Woodhouse and Hall, and then 200ths back to Miguel Freitas in fifth. That is why the top five are so close on the circuit. It is this five that set those qualifying times, and they are already putting in some pretty decent ones in the race as Chris Wood closes up to the back of Hall as well, onto the back of Stuart McFadden, going through the chicane. I think Stuart McFadden was racing last Thursday in the BSRTC at Suzuka. Hopefully we see him again in the next few weeks, but doing a fantastic job here in the Club 73. Won race one at Monza last week, and he's trying to emulate that success here, Sam, as he's towing this pack around.
Yeah, he's just holding position at the moment. McFadden's still looking good out in front. I just wonder how much Hall is trying right now. He is now 6 tenths behind, and if anything, Chris Wood, I think, may need to make this move quickly, because it appears as though Hall may not quite have enough pace to keep up with McFadden, as he moves another 10th clear, now 7 tenths clear, and off the track goes Chris Wood, and that might be an opportunity now for Miguel Freitas to go around the outside, and he makes it very well. So Freitas up to third now. Seemed as though Chris Wood was just pushing a little bit too hard to try to make the move. Alex,
have you seen what's going on in the Jetters by any chance?
Yeah, that's extremely close right now as well, isn't it? So Walker's moved himself up. When was that?
That was all in the chicane. It was all kicking off there. I noticed that as Chris Wood went off, but
let's take it back a little bit, shall we, and just see exactly what went on there, because all of a sudden Melina doesn't have the lead, and Tim's not, well, Tim's in the second, but the what goes on. So Melina goes a little bit defensive. Tim outbrakes him round the outside, holds the car there. He's got the inside. Then there's a bit of contact, and they sort of run each other out wide, so slow on the exit. And Ryan gets the best exit, of course. Hedgecock follows him through with the slipstream, and they're side by side going through the final turn. And sort of settle in back as they were. So yeah, great opportunist driving from both Walker and Hedgecock to gain some places there. I think Molina will be thinking, how the heck did I go into that corner in first and come out in fourth?
Basically, how close the Jettas is, we haven't seen that in quite a while. The Kias have been really bettering the Jetta in terms of tight pack racing, but the Jetta definitely back on form there. Everyone is right with each other. If anything, Ryan Walker's actually just starting to pull away a little bit. Now the Cheese and Wine guys have made it to the front, and they'll definitely be in control of things now. And Adam Hedgecock desperately trying to get past Tim Mawson, was able to do so at Monza last week. Will he be able to do the same here at Road Altanta as we go for the final corner? Clinton Bell into the pits. Don't know what's happened to Clinton, but he was running third in class. He's now going to be running at the back of the order once he comes in. So problem for Clinton, maybe he didn't put enough fuel in the car, don't know, but yeah, he's now in the pits.
All in side by side in the Kias, and Hall's
for the lead.
Hall's managed to go around the outside at the chicane, got the inside for the second part, and the run down the hill now to the final corner. So yeah, brilliant move there from Michael Hall. Didn't look like he was going to be able to pull it off, but yeah, fantastically done. Got 5 minutes now to hold on.
Just taking a look back on the replay just to see how he done him. So yeah, maybe Stuart going a little bit defensive a bit early onto the marbles. Doesn't really affect too much, but good late braking from Hall is what did it, I think. And he had his car up the inside. McFadden tries to turn in, but Hall's like, no there fella, I'm already here, give me some room. And yeah, that's the position gain.
And Michael Hall hits the front end. McFadden, we've seen at Monza how quick he was. He can now try and get the lead back, as Mark Woodhouse was definitely wise going through the exit of the left-hander. Now into this back section, the two 90-degree right-handers, which are so important in setting up a decent run down the back straight. And don't rule out Miguel Freitas either. He's been able to get past Chris Wood after he made that error a few laps ago. And now the top four, maybe even top five if you include Stephen Baxter as well, and truly dumped Mark Woodhouse. It's now almost a front five as we scrap for the lead. McFadden then looking to the inside, which will become the outside for the chicane. Michael Hall on the inside. It's all going to be about the last of the late breakers. McFadden wants this lead back, and round the outside he goes. Will he make the corner? He'll have the inside line for the second part of the chicane. There's contact between the two of them. Michael Hall getting nudged out wide onto the grass and onto the dirt. And now this is Miguel Freitas' opportunity to try and take second place away as we come through the final corner. Well, Hall has the speed just about, Sam, to hold on to that position.
Yeah, I really thought those two were going to make contact there. Freitas kept his nose in, and now even Chris Wood fancies his chances at a third position, but he just manages to hang on because it's single file through this SS section. But Hall pretty much fell for his own medicine there. He defended the inside once again, and McFadden really good on the brakes, and I was surprised actually Hall didn't pick up a slowdown because he did cut that chicane quite significantly, and really wide there from Miguel Freitas. He's going to be very under pressure now from Chris Wood going into these next couple of corners, and he's not going to have the slipstream either. Down the inside is that Chris Wood, so Michael Hall going for the lead, not quite, but he is going to have a run down this back straight now.
Not too long to go then, we've just gotten to 4 minutes, and now Stephen Baxter fancies his bit of the action. He's got a whole lot of damage to the front of his Kia Optima. I don't know where that's come from, but he's definitely found the pace all of a sudden. We're coming up to lap some Jettas as well. That is David Ayres in front, a driver who's supposed to be competing for the Jetta Championship, not having the best race, but Alex, the Kias are so quick around here that we're coming up to lap them in the sprint race.
Yeah, occasionally we do, don't we, with the sprint race, so good move there for Baxter though. He knew that was going to work out. He sacrificed a little bit of slipstream coming off of the onto the back straight. Everything seems okay. Yeah,
it's the Jettas I was just looking at. That's pretty close.
But yeah, good move from Baxter. Just like I say, he placed his car well coming off that corner, and which meant he was going to have the draft, and Chris Wood wasn't. And he was just able just to slipstream past.
Oh my word, McFadden and Hall are at it again. That was very close to disaster there. The two of them were wheel to wheel over the top of the hill into turn 3. I was just looking at the Jettas while they were doing that, but yeah, this is all really kicking off now. We've got just under 3 minutes to go, and they're doing everything they can to try and get the lead off one another. McFadden's got about half a second advantage, but as we've seen so far, once they get onto the back straight, that gap will just be erased completely as Baxter and Wood now go wheel to wheel into the back section of the circuit. Baxter up the inside, car 888. see what he can do. We'll have the inside line here, and he breaks later, and Chris Wood, Sam looks like he's trying to get the run on the exit as the leaders come onto the back straight again. Going to begin the slipstreaming, and Michael Hall can try yet again to try and get past Stuart McFadden.
Yeah, I feel a little bit sorry for Chris Wood, because he's driven well so far in the race, but he just seems to keep on just losing out in these laps with Michael Hall. Will he go for the inside? He's going to go for the outside again, what we've seen. Now it is possible to go around the outside there. A little bit of contact, and he's just going to have to slot back into position. They've now got the VW Jetters right in front of them. This is going to be very difficult to navigate. They're going to catch them right in the middle of the final corner. He does well there, does Stuart McFadden, and seems like all the Kias are going to have to just file to the inside here, but now they're going to overtake through the S's, which is not easy whatsoever. So going to be very difficult for these guys.
Hold on, folks, this is not going to go well. McFadden up the inside, he hits Tim Mawson. Mawson gets sideways. This just backs up the Kia pack even more. You can see Ryan Walker leads Alexis Molino and Tim Mawson in the Jetters, and you can also see the McFadden, Hall and Freitas lead the way in the Jetters. This is how close it is. Usually see something like this in the Rimatech Sports Car Series. McFadden makes a right mess of that left-hander at the top of the hill, and this is going to allow Michael Hall the chance to take the lead before we even get to the back section of the circuit. Now they have the opportunity to try and get past the Jetters. They get past 1, 2, not 3 of them as we go into the right-hander. It's still Ryan Walker leading the way, and this could botch up things even more as we go through the right-hander now, and Molina getting squeezed out by the Kias as we go around the exit. And now they finally are able to get the speed, and it is now unleashed, and they are now past the remainder of the Jetters. But Alex, that was a really stressful lap for everyone.
Yeah, it was. Woodhouse right on the back of the Kia pack as well, and comes together with Baxter background, Baxter. And makes contact with one, two, three of the Jetters involved in that.
Molina as well. Oh no, another one. Into the wall goes car 89. That's Robert Lundgren. He had nothing to do with that pack. Oh dear.
Well, they're going to go for one more lap. Let's take a little look back and see exactly what happened there, because Woodhouse obviously caught up, comes out of the slipstream. It goes sort of left and then comes back right, and he wasn't clear. I don't know if he thought he was trying to tuck back into the draft or what, but he was just enough alongside that it caused that dreaded quarter panel, sent the Kia into the wall. No runoff area there whatsoever, so the car just bounced back. And a mistake I think on Woodhouse's part there. I don't think he meant to do that at all. I think he thought he was clear, but big crash and massive effect for the championship. I mean, Mawson, who's running very wide, is in the lead by 1.9 seconds from Hedgecock, so the top two in the championship, 1 and 2. But McFadden leading the way still. He's got quite a gap over Michael Hall now, so you can quite see what happened to Hall, why he dropped off so much, but he has.
Yeah, while we were looking at that replay, Michael Hall and Freitas were really squabbling over second position. That's why the gap's gone up to 1.3 seconds. Final lap of the race then, and Stuart McFadden looks like he's going to make it 2 race 1 wins on the bounce as he goes through the final corner. It's still on between Chris Wood and Freitas. Through the final corner we go then. What a really amazing end to this one. Here we go, Stuart McFadden through the final corner. He's going to win race 1 of the day, the sprint race in the Club 73 Touring Car Championship, and he is delighted with that second for Michael Hall. It could have been a win. Chris Wood in 3rd, Miguel Freitas in 4th, and Scott Malcolm is going to end up being in 5th position. Here comes Tim Mawson. He's going to win the Jetters. Indeed he does. He takes the win. Second, Adam Hedgecock. After Ryan Walker had a pretty comfortable lead, he ended up getting involved in that mess with the Kias.
Yeah. And Walker does finish in 3rd though, doesn't he? So he managed to survive, but Molina was out. So who are we waiting for? Dale Green. He managed to not quite get lapped, so he's heading down the back straight now for the final time.
Lundgren has also been able to finish. He pitted for his fast repair because he probably picked up the heaviest amount of damage in all of the Jetters that were involved. But now here comes Dale Green. He's going to come round and take a pretty comfortable win in the Mustangs. It's him versus John Roberts for the title, remember. And a win over John Roberts will definitely help decrease that 10-point margin, which is already sitting pretty close indeed. Through the final corner he comes, and the Core Sim Racing car is going to take the win in the Mustangs. The Canadian Dale Green gets it done in the Mustang class. What an unbelievable race that was then. We're running through the finishing order. Stuart McFadden wins. Michael Hall second. Third for Chris Wood. In terms of the championship for Michael Hall, that is a pretty good job, well done. Miguel Freitas fourth, Scott Malcolm fifth, Tristan Bodice in sixth. Those are the only Kias that really finished without issues. And Dale Green takes the win in the Mustangs. Second is John Roberts. Third for Clinton Bell. My time screen's a right mess. Hang on, let me just refresh it. Then we've also got Mark Woodhouse involved there. Him and Stephen Baxter colliding. Baxter fighting for a championship. Don't know whether that had a say in that crash, but yeah, that's what happened to those two. And then we've got the Jetters. Tim Mawson takes the win there. Adam Hedgecock second. Ryan Walker was able to still finish in third place. Didn't even need to come in for a fast repair either, so he didn't pick up too much damage, even though he did get involved in that mess on the back straight. David Ayres finishing in fourth, and then Clinton Bell. Don't know what happened to Clinton. Really came into the pits, had to fill it up with fuel. I'm guessing it might have been a fuel-related issue. And then Robert Lundgren into the pits, fast repair for him. He had a big crash in the Jetters, and Alexis Molina also in as well. He was another of the Jetters involved in that carnage that we saw on the penultimate lap of the race. And Alex, as far as finishes go, that was well up there.
Yeah, an exciting finish, that's for sure. Big implications for Baxter. Like I say, Hall will be delighted with that. So that was just the Kias catching the Jetters at just the wrong time and closed that pack up. Woodhouse was able to catch 2.5 seconds in that lap. That's how much slower they had to go there. And yeah, it looked like McFadden really got the exit wrong, didn't he, coming out of the S's as well? And I thought Hall was going to have him, but fortunately, there really wasn't anywhere for Hall to go. Which is what sort of saved Stuart there. But yeah, exciting. I do quite like it when the pack comes up together like that, because we do see these mad little moments where everybody's scrambling to try and get past, and each class is trying to win their own race. I'm sure they hate it. Yeah, that's like the worst thing they could possibly imagine. Stuart's thinking, oh, please, not on the last lap. You know, and the Jetters the same as well. It's like, I just really don't need the Kias coming through right now. So, but for us as the neutrals, it's brilliant.
Have you ever had that before with a few laps to go? You're in your Daytona prototype and you're coming up on some Porsches or some German GT3s. Has that ever been an issue?
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's the worst thing, especially around here. Like we saw through the S's, the Kias caught the VWs, and of all the places probably in the world to catch slower traffic, that is the one place where you do not want to catch slower traffic, and very nearly lost Stuart McFadden the victory, but he did well, to be fair. He defended well against Michael Hall through that traffic, and in the end got his reward with that good victory.
Well, we're going to catch our breaths and take a commercial break here on Apex Racing TV as we get set for the Beecher race. Mandatory pit stop, 30-minute race coming up after the break. Will we see something similar in the conclusion to that one? You don't want to miss it. It's the Club 73 Touring Car Championship on Apex Racing TV. And yeah, the second race is coming up next.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Truex in the outside, contact made, 56 slides it into 4, who's going to be into the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
From far away they came to us with knowledge. They changed our world and left us without warning. They will return the day when they are needed. Our gaze is shifted upwards to the sky.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV, welcome back to Road Atlanta and the penultimate race meeting of the season in the Club 73 Touring Car Championship. Just after this, we've got one more race meeting to go, and that'll be at Donington Park on the National Circuit next week on yours truly's birthday. An interesting way to spend the evening. Joining me in the commentary box is Alex Simpson and Sam Fitzpatrick for one more race, the feature race coming up. Temperatures seem to have gone up a little bit. The sun has come out now at Road Atlanta, and Alex, it already looks like tensions are a bit heated on the circuit, and I think they could get Alex to a little bit more in this feature race.
Yeah, it was an interesting first race, wasn't it? I'm not sure what's being said on the chat post race for the last one. There is all serious in. I think there's a bit of pulling leg going on there. So, but yeah, we'll wait and see, because it'll either spill over onto the track or it won't.
Checker flag just coming out now at the end of the warm-up session. Yeah, some feature race as always, the mandatory pit stop, and the strategy as well. The Jetters, we always see them come in early, and the Kias go in a little bit later, but I'm sure we'll see them meet each other at some point on the track, just like they did in the first race.
Yeah, we could have a couple of lapping. Yeah, the BWs could be lapped a couple of times, so we could see that a couple of times, and which could be quite an important factor. We saw Stuart Bainey lose the lead due to the BWs, so that's going to be important to see how they navigate that and where they catch them on circuit, because if they catch them down back straight, it won't be too much of an issue. If they catch them through the S's like they did last time, then yeah, it could get a bit messy.
Well, Stuart McFadden is on the pole, the race one winner. Second is Tristan Bodice, so he'll have a second opportunity to try and get a good result after messing up the start in race one. Scott Malcolm in third, Mark Woodhouse fourth, Freitas fifth, Chris Wood sixth, and Clinton Bell on pole in the Mustangs and Walker on pole in the Jetters. As the drivers look to the lights again, there's a Jetta moving in the background. That'll be a jump start. I can't see the number, but either way, we are ready to go, and we are underway for the second race here in the Club 73 Touring Car Championship. I think it might be Lundgren that was moving before the lights went out, but good start by McFadden straight away, building up a bit of a lead. Bodice in second place. Freitas again trying to get in the mix as he almost collides with Mark Woodhouse as we head up the hill. Chris Wood also in the mix there, so is Stephen Baxter. Michael Hall just hanging back a little bit, thinking of his championship perhaps. Oh dear, this is not going to go well. Woodhouse sideways and into Scott Malcolm. Malcolm has to get off the gas and loses a few positions and a bit of time. Now Michael Hall's getting in the mix as him and Chris Wood go wheel to wheel here, and Michael Hall through. So Chris Wood probably and Scott Malcolm, two of the biggest losers in that first lap shenanigan. And now Alex, the Mustangs and the Jetters are all still pretty close to each other.
Yeah, I was just having a quick look at them as well. Good start from Clinton Bell. Walker got Molina right behind him. Molina will be hoping for a bit of payback after the last race. Was not any of his doing, was it? But he won a good result out of it nonetheless. Mawson as well, good start. That field very, very close together. I think that's Dale Green going for a move on White right now. Got a good exit out of the corner before the long straight, side by side. So I'm pretty sure he's going to complete that. Michael Hall and Chris Wood also side by side down the straight as well. So switch over to that. Actually, Baxter all of a sudden dropped back. I don't know issues for Baxter, but he's having to fend off Hall all of a sudden. He was right up in about third or fourth place at the start of this one, so not sure what's going on there. Hall run a little bit wide, has to get out of it. That's allowed Wood to get back past again.
John Roberts has also taken the lead away from Clinton Bell, and it's in the background. But yeah, these two Kias going wheel to wheel. Chris Wood and Stephen Baxter are now getting joined by Michael Hall. This is all for a scrap of 6th position as we go into the S's. But yeah, John Roberts needs a good result here because his championship rival Dale Green won the opening race. 10-point gap going into this race meeting between Dale Green and John Roberts, and now Roberts has 2 positions in hand over Dale Green. So I wonder what this could do in terms of the championship when we get to the final race meeting at Donington. Whether this will just equal it back out again, we'll wait and see. But for now at least, John Roberts, Sam, is having to fend off the attacks of Clinton Bell.
Yeah, soon Clinton quick all season. He's going to have a look on the inside, not quite, but he should be able to line up and move down the back straight. I think the slipstream effect in this car isn't too much, but he's still so close. He's going to have a chance on the brakes going into that into that chicane come the end of this straight, and Dale Green just watching behind. Probably sensible for him just to hang back right now, think about the championship. He doesn't absolutely need to win this race, so he can just see what the two in front of him do. Maybe even take an early pit stop, just try to minimise any risk taking.
210 kilometres an hour they were reaching, the Mustangs, as they got on the brakes for the chicane at the end of the straight. What's going on in the Jetters? We'll check on them for the first time today. Ryan Walker back in the lead. He was in the lead for the majority of the opening race before the carnage ensued on the front straight. On the back straight. Alexis Molina also involved in that in second place, and Tim Mawson, the winner from race 1, in third, with Adam Hedgecock in fourth. Only one car's been into the pit so far. That's Robert Lundgren. He had to serve his stop and go penalty for jumping the start. He's back out on track, and just to compound the misery for him, he has to also make his pit stop for tyres as well. So yeah, he's going to be in the pits quite a bit today. But this battle for the lead in the Jetters, Alex, really heating up. Molina versus Walker at it yet again. Cheese and Wine versus the Booster Motorsport car.
Yeah, always seem to be there, don't they? It's a shame we're missing a couple of the other drivers, actually, because I think this pack would have been extremely close. Chris Wood as well. Looks like he's got a good run on Scott Malcolm here down the back straight. There's also side-by-side further up. That's Freitas and Bottas battling it out. Miguel's definitely got the best of the runs there. He's going to try and go around the outside into the chicane. I think he's got that done, and side-by-side again. That's another place for Chris Wood. Wood moving up very, very quickly, and actually Baxter and Hall take full advantage of Malcolm just sort of giving far too much room on the exit of the chicane there, and yeah, move themselves up. So Malcolm effectively in last now of the group. But yeah, if they fight like they did earlier on, I can't see Malcolm finishing there.
Malcolm losing a ton of time after just that small issue on the exit of the chicane, and yeah, down to 8th place now, losing 5 positions. Baxter, Wood and Hall all through, and they are now up into 5th, 6th and 7th places respectively. Mark Woodhouse is a bit further up the road, but if he starts getting involved with anybody in front of him, then he can close onto the back of them within no time at all. Race order then on lap 4 of the race. We've got 24 minutes to go. Stuart McFadden leads Miguel Freitas by nearly 2 seconds. Yeah, McFadden set a brilliant lap time on the last lap, nearly 6/10 of a second quicker than Freitas in second. Then Tristan Bottas is in third with Mark Woodhouse 4th. Then it's a bit of a gap back to Chris Wood 5th, Baxter 6th, Hall 7th, and then Malcolm in 8th. In the Mustangs, it's still as you were. It's Roberts, then Bell, then Green. And yeah, in the Jetters, it's Ryan Walker still as he runs wide on the exit over the top of the hill, still leading Alexis Molina with Mawson 3rd and Hedgecock 4th as we go into the back section of the circuit. See if these Jetters can get any sort of slipstream down the back straight, and it'll be a good opportunity, Alex, to see what kind of speeds these Jetters can get as they head up over the top of the hill and down the straight.
Yeah, let's just take a quick look. Speeds up on screen, kilometers an hour, so what, 170 at the moment. There's not a huge difference in the draft. I mean, we're talking 3-4k, nothing too dramatic, so you've got to get a really good exit to get the move done. Although saying that, it looks like Mawson's got a slight bit more overspeed than what Molina has. So yeah, they were close to 200 kilometers an hour, just over with the draft, so not massively fast. Of course, we know they're only, you know, a diesel.
120 miles an hour, I think.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the draft does make a little effect. It must. I'm not quite sure why Molina's a little bit slower than the cheese and wine car. So, didn't know there was too much you could do on an aero package to slow it down. As Mawson goes for the inside, sort of went for it, pulled out of it, and then went for it again and pulled out for it again, and ended up actually getting hit by Hedgecock there. So. Yeah, indecisive move from Tim, but I think more than anything, he just didn't want to take out Molina there.
Well, yeah, that is the spectrum of cars that we've got on iRacing. You've got the likes of the McLaren, where you've just got endless amounts of customization, and then you've got the Jetta, pretty much a bog standard road car. Don't know really what.
So Chris Wood off the track on the exit of the chicane made contact, I think, with Stephen Baxter, and Michael Hall's been able to get past the pair of them. So. Yeah, that was very action-packed there.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'll just take a look back and have a look what happened. Oh, it looks like Baxter tried to get the move done on the outside, or he was defending a move by going around the outside, Alex, and yeah, went up the inside of Chris Wood, and the two touched.
Yeah, we've seen that quite a bit actually today, but quite a heavy hit for Wood.
Oh,
But that's always the problem when you got to be on the outside. You know, you got to expect that you're going to get run out a little bit, so you might just need to leave a bit of extra room just to sort of cover yourself. But you know, in equal sense, you would hope that you wouldn't get run out. So you can see why didn't leave any room there. So, but I think that one falls down as a pure racing incident.
Chris White's out of the race. I don't know what happened to him to put him down the order. He was already down the order when he had his crash, but yeah, he might have already made an early pit stop. I don't know, but yeah, Chris White in issues. I don't know if we'll see him back on the track again. It might just be towing at the moment, but problems for that Mustang as the battle is heating up for second place between Tristan Bodice and Mark Woodhouse. Last time around, Bodice did for third place, I should say. Bodice did a 27.8. Woodhouse did a 27.4, so also having some second difference. And then the team mad car of Woodhouse starting to get pretty close as they go through the final corner to start lap 7.
Oh, we had an incident in the VW's Tim Mawson off the track, and I think Adam Hedgecock may have been involved. I'm not quite sure, but I literally just heard it really and saw Mawson round. So that was at the top of the hill, I think, at the exit of the S's.
Oh, I've just had a look. It looks like that he gets on the curbs on his own. Yeah, he gets on the curbs on his own. The car gets unsettled, and then he tries to hold on to the slide, but then Adam Hedgecock gives him a helping hand. Yeah, we've got a replay of that, Alex.
Yeah, he was trying desperate, wasn't he, to get side by side. It's not the easiest place to do that, and the car just gets a little bit out of shape, and yeah, in the end, you say he tries to save it, but unfortunately, through no fault of his own, Hedgecock just clips him as well.
That's Tim Mawson. Go on.
I'm just going to say Bell's slowly closing in on John Roberts as well. 0.6 of a second separate those two as they go through the first sector right now, and not too far behind Dale Green as well.
Dale Green keeping them close at hand because, yeah, you got to do that. Woodhouse versus Bodice is still heating up. I think that might be Woodhouse through. Indeed, it is. Bodice isn't giving up though. He's coming back up the inside of him as we go under the bridge and back down the hill. Battle for final position on the podium. Tim Wilson's coming to the pits. He's taking the opportunity to come in now and get that mandatory pit stop out of the way. And as you can see, Michael Hall and Stephen Baxter within a few corners are now right on the back of Woodhouse and Bodice, which really shows you how much time you can lose around the circuit if you start going side by side, especially around some of the slow speed corners like the chicane at the end of the back straight. It's Woodhouse in third now, Bodice in fourth, Michael Hall fifth, and Stephen Baxter in sixth.
Yeah, all closing back up. They've been a little bit spread out so far, but they've all kind of met in the same spot. Tristan Bodice still really wants that third place off Mark Woodhouse. It's difficult to tell who's actually the fast out of those two. I think they're pretty much identical, and whoever's got the slipstream has the slight advantage. But right behind them, Michael Hall and Stephen Baxter just waiting behind. They've done well to catch up, and Chris Wood just dropped back a little bit. He's been overtaken a couple of times in this race, but he's going to be right there if these start fighting a little bit more.
Down the back straight they go. The Jetters reached speeds of 200 k's. We're already past that already. We're approaching 250 kilometers an hour now as we head into the braking zone. And now here comes Michael Hall at the inside of Bodice as the Jetters come into the pits as well. All very close.
Yeah, that was just about what I was just about to say. Their leaders in the Jetters, so straight on sprint for those guys.
There'll be a race, NASCAR style race off pit road here. They're at Talladega today. We're at Road Atlanta. David Ayres takes the lead in the Jetters. Ryan Walker, Molina and Hedgecock all in. We'll also wait and see where Tim Mawson is in all this. He is just coming into the final chicane. His pit stop time was a 22.6. See what sort of times these guys do then. As the tyres get changed, you can see the cars getting jacked up. And we're ready to go. You can see that is Mawson just getting through the back of the shot there. Away goes Hedgecock. It looks like he's going to leap past everyone. Ryan Walker was in there for a very long time. Maybe he sped on entry into the pit lane. That can be probably the only logical explanation. Where is Tim Mawson in all this? He's just coming through the final corner. He should get Molina. But what about Hedgecock as we go over the top of the hill? These two collided a few laps ago, and he's going to go round the outside of him as well. So Tim Mawson pitted early, pitted straight after that spin he had on the previous lap, and Alex, he's taken all of them and is now in the effective race lead.
Yeah, nailed it. Walker 44 seconds, so he was 20 seconds over, so it must have been a speeding penalty on the way in. Easy to do here as well. That sort of line creeps up on you as you try and go through that sort of pit lane. But yeah, awesome from Mawson.
Did you also get that for an unsafe pit entry?
No, I'm not sure you get 20 seconds for an unsafe pit entry. You do get a penalty, but I think the 20 seconds is a slam dunk speeding penalty. So.
Yeah, I remember Okayama, we had issues where drivers cut across it too late and ended up getting penalties.
Might be wrong actually, it might have been an unsafe, yeah, you're right. But it's pretty hard to get an unsafe pit entry here though, to be fair. Just because of the way the pit lane is, you have to go down that little runoff area, don't you, first? So, unless he didn't take that at all, which he absolutely did. So, yeah, definitely a slam dunk speeding. I think.
Yeah, I don't know whether they judge it on the yellow lines at all.
Hall and Baker very, very close. They got 1.6 seconds to catch up to Woodhouse. So McFadden, Freitas, and Woodhouse got a fairly reasonable gap at the front because this little group's been battling so hard behind.
Gap has been coming down for the leaders though. Stuart McFadden nearly had the gap at 2 seconds a few laps ago. It's down to half a second. So I don't know whether McFadden dashed off too quickly. I used to do that back in the old athletics days at school, but completely different concept entirely. Don't know why I brought that up, but yeah, McFadden leads the second, Miguel Freitas, and Freitas has been putting in some decent laps recently as all the Mustangs come in, Alex, exactly the same time.
Yeah, let's just watch this for a second, see who gets the best pit stop. Roberts in theory should be in and out. Stop stationary first. Green, no issues, everybody in. Left side jacked up as well for everybody. So
also got some
right side for Roberts. Anyone just taking 2? We see this a lot in the Rickmatech series, don't we? People just taking 2. So Roberts away. Good stop from him. 23 seconds. Closely followed by Bell. I don't think he closed up. He did close up 7/10 actually, but Green lost a second on these guys. So 24 seconds.
We've also got a few of the Kias in as well, Sam. Baxter and Hall.
Yeah, I don't know if Baxter made a little bit of an error coming into the pit. Yeah, Baxter just was stationary, like inside Michael Hall's car, I think, and he had to pull Hall's a little. That cost him a few seconds, I think. So Hall may be able to. Yeah, Hall's already away, so I think Baxter's going to lose out a little bit there. I think these are the first drivers in the Kias to pit, so. No, they're not going to be rivaling anyone on pit exit, but yeah, Hall wants to get that one over and done with. He'll have fresh tyres now, and he needs to put in a good outlap to jump any cars ahead.
3-second difference in terms of the pit lane times. The pit stop times not too different, but that's probably because Stephen Baxter to stop and start again. But yeah, Hall doing well. Bollis versus Wood going wheel to wheel through the chicane here. This is over 4th and 5th place. Wonder how this is going to work if one of them decides to come into the pit lane. Looks like Chris Wood is going to do so. In he comes from 4th place. Tristan Bollis is going to re-inherit that position as they go through the right-hander. Chris Wood into the pit lane now, and we still await the top 2 to come in. And Alex are just getting closer and closer on that lap. 27.6 for McFadden, 27.3 this time for Miguel Freitas. He is definitely good on the long runs.
Yeah, he's really picking up. It took him a while, didn't it, in the first race to work his way through the pack, and he's not needed to do that this time, but showing that great pace. So yeah, 0.3 of a second, right in the draft now. Let's see what these guys do. Are they going to come in? Might be good for McFadden to get himself some fresh tyres, and of course potentially use like the undercut to pull away. Excuse me. Been a tough weekend. God.
The action on the track is just that enthralling.
God, this has been crazy.
On the top of the hill, then McFadden versus Freitas. Let's see what Freitas can do. Can he get the lead before the pit stops begin? Could that be crucial in determining the winner of this race? I wonder what Michael Hall can do now that he's got some clear air. Obviously, he's the championship leader. He's going to be quick. And here comes McFadden through the chicane, up over the hill and under the bridge. See if the Scottish driver does come into the pits. No, they both stay out yet again. So they're really going for the long one here. They're starting their 13th lap of the race, and we'll see what the lap time's like. 27.7 for McFadden, 27.7 as well for Freitas. Mark Woodhouse, Sam, is in, and yeah, we'll see where he comes out in relation to the likes of Baxter and Hall, because he was in and amongst that battle when they started making their stops.
Yeah, Chris Wood came out 4 seconds behind Stephen Baxter, but he did overshoot his pit stop, so that cost him a few seconds, I think. And Mark Woodhouse, he was around that battle. I think he may have been like a second or two ahead. But Michael Hall, we haven't actually got a representative time yet for Michael Hall, but Mark Woodhouse will make sure that he gets track position. He will have fresher tyres for the rest of the race, but he still really wants track position. It's not the easiest track to overtake round, is this. And Scott Malcolm also in, and we'll see
stop
whereabouts
from Woodhouse. Sorry, Sam, to cut you off there, but yeah, 26.2 seconds, a very slow stop. Puts himself well behind Hall, so Hall's had a really good pit stop run so far. It's a few seconds clear of everybody, so still the front two yet to pit.
Chris Wood in for a second time, so problem for Chris Wood, I don't know what it is. It's pretty difficult to speed on exit because these Kia Optimas are equipped with a pit lane speed limiter, so I don't know whether it's an unsafe exit or don't know, but yeah, Chris Wood in again for a second time, and that is his chance of fighting for a top 5, well and truly over.
Yeah, looks like 20 second stop there as well, so I hate to say it, but I think it will be a speed in. Just let go of the pit limiter. Just a bit too early, it's easily done.
Well, Tristan Bottas will be hoping he doesn't have suffered the same fate. He is in from 3rd position, which means that the only 2 cars that are yet to stop are Miguel Freitas and Stuart McFadden. And Bottas is going to make this one a quick one, see what he can do. He's pitted later than everybody else, so the pit stop should be fractionally quicker. But he was running in 3rd place pretty much on his own at the time, so wait and see what goes on. The tyres get changed. We haven't seen anyone else come through yet. Trying to find Michael Hall. He is just coming down the front straight now, so he should inherit this position. I think Bottas is going to lose it to Michael Hall. Hall is going to be up into the podium positions. That early stop is definitely starting to pay dividends. Hall away, Bottas away, and he's now behind Stephen Baxter, Sam.
Yeah, and quite a long way behind him as well, so I don't really know what happened to Bottas. So he didn't overshoot his pit stop, and he wasn't a slow stop either. He was a couple of seconds slower than Hall, so it was a decent pit stop. But yeah, maybe he just stayed out too long with those old tyres, and he really lost out to the drivers who made an early pit stop. But Freitas stays out, and McFadden in. So McFadden first in out of the top 2. And he really needs to nail this one. It'll be interesting to see if Hall can get anywhere near them. He's been about a second on lap faster since he's put fresh tyres on. So this could potentially be close, but it was about 5 or 6 seconds behind before the pit stop started.
Well, fantastic battle as well for leading the Jetters at the same time. So it is really heating up on the circuit as Tim Mawson really trying to hold back Alexis Molina. But where is Stuart McFadden going to rejoin? And we'll see what kind of pit stop time he does. He's been in the pit box now for about 16 seconds. Michael Hall just coming into the final corner now, so I think we could really put him on as a contender for the race win. McFadden goes away. He is the first pit box in the pit lane. 23.7 second stop. Michael Hall just coming into the first corner now. He's going to have the momentum too. So this early pit stop has really helped him go from a top 3 contender into a possible contender for the win. The gap between McFadden and Hall is about 3 seconds with 8 minutes to go, so maybe fantasising a little bit, Alex, but yeah, Hall, this pit stop window has definitely worked out for him.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, one car separating them on, a couple of cars separating them on the track, so we'll have to see. But Hall's definitely got a clear run at him now.
Oh my word!
And go on.
Sorry, it's the lead trio in the Jetters. They're nearly 3 wide through the final corner. Oh, they touch!
Oh no!
Off goes Molina.
Good recovery from Molina as well. Tim didn't push the case, did he, too much there? And yeah, Hedgecock couldn't take advantage of it as Chris Wood comes past both of them.
Freitas is in as well. It's really difficult to take your eyes away from this. But yeah, the pit stop battle for the lead is on in the Kias. Freitas is in now. Whereabouts is McFadden? He's just coming through the final chicane. very close between Woodhouse and Hall as well. So we have really got quite a few battles to watch in the final 7.5 minutes. McFadden just coming through the final corner now. McFadden should take the lead because Freitas hasn't left us.
It's a slow stop.
26.2 seconds. That's McFadden through. What about Hall?
I think Hall's going to get by as well, isn't he? It's going to be close, this one.
I should just hold on to second place because here comes Woodhouse on Hall.
Yeah, where's Woodhouse come from? That slow lap from Hall? Wasn't it? It's just he was there, wasn't he? He's just got onto his case. Mark Woodhouse, out of nowhere, challenging Hall.
0.8 of a second quicker on that last lap. Mark Woodhouse 26.8 compared to a 27.6 for Michael Hall. So
there was a bit of traffic, weren't there, for Hall? So I
yeah.
wonder if he got caught behind that. There was a couple of cars separating him and McFadden. I mean, it's worth pointing out that he is about 5 seconds behind McFadden now. So he did lose 2 seconds on that lap.
That pit stop really has killed Miguel Freitas because it was a 23.7 for McFadden and a 26.2 stop for Freitas. So the gap is now sitting in and around 2.5 seconds. So
there's the difference between the tyres, do you think? You know, because he went so early, didn't he? Got that undercut, got himself good track position, but unfortunately the tyres just aren't up to it, and yeah, he's having to defend like crazy here. Woodhouse through comfortably, more traction out of that penultimate corner. Gets the line a little bit wrong, but I think he's going to be okay.
Down Road Atlanta, has it always been a difficult test for the tyres, this circuit?
I think so. It's because it's got that good combination. You know, that first sector, you know, that first corner, really high speed, really pounds that front left, and then the S's again really taxes them, and you've got pretty heavy braking in a couple of places as well. So yeah, it puts them through the paces.
Down the Daytona prototypes, did they ever struggle with that issue on this circuit, Road Atlanta?
Not too much really, mainly the front tyres, but the thing is when the rear tyres go around here, that's when it really costs you. The deg on the rear tyres isn't too bad, but on the change of direction through the S's, you really do need that rear of the car to be sticking to the track, otherwise it can get very squirmish and it's very easy to make an error and go into those nearby walls. So the rear tyre, when those rear tyres go off, then it's very difficult to keep control of the car.
Freitas is coming, Alex. The gap was 2.5 seconds. It's down to 1.4 within the space of just a few laps of them being out of the pits. Don't know whether there's enough time for him to get to Stuart McFadden. We've got just under 5 minutes, but then again, it is a pretty short lap around here. One of the shortest of the season, in fact, alongside Okayama. It's just under a 90-second lap. So we have got quite a few laps to go, but the gap is now down to 1.2 seconds. It was 2.1 at the start of the last lap.
Yeah, he's in the draft now, isn't he, as well? Clearly down that long straight, so he's going to get pulled in. A couple of laps shorter on tyres as well, so tyres will just be in slightly better condition. So he's got the advantage right now. Front three in the Jettas as well, very, very close. John Roberts still 1.4 seconds clear in the Mustangs from Clinton Bell. There's not much going on there, so really it's these two battles. God, it's 0.7 seconds already. I look away for just a second, and he's right on him.
This backstraight is definitely going to be interesting to see what happens between these two. Alex is right about the Jettas, Molina, Mawson and Hedgecock. We're not too far away from lapping these guys as well. We could be having a similar situation, Sam, to what we had in the last race, except we've only got 2 Kias this time to try and get past this lead trio of the Jettas.
Yeah, because that certainly have the same situation. That was absolute chaos the last time it happened, and Miguel Freitas now right on the tail of Stuart McFadden. He has got 1 lap newer tyres, which could make a little bit of a difference. Could be part of the reason why he's got so much pace, but he's got the run now. He's going to have to take the inside, going into this long curve. He's squeezing him there, but he's on the outside now. He's got to outbrake him going into the chicane, but no, Stuart McFadden's going to try to stick in there, but all the way around the outside from Miguel Freitas. Brilliant move from him, and that could well be the win now.
Fantastic job there, but McFadden is fighting back as we go through the final corner. 2 drivers at the top of their game in the Kia Optima. See them both racing in the BSR-TC now on a Thursday and really doing a good job there. McFadden going for the lead then into the first corner. He wants it back. He's going to try straight away. We've just gone to 3 minutes to go. These guys, what is the gap to the car in third place? Just 6 seconds, so I don't think they're in any danger of those guys getting in the party. Up the inside goes McFadden. That is the lead back. No cars flipping over this time through that corner. Unlike the World Cup a few years ago, but now through the S's, and McFadden, really, Alex, it looked like that Freitas had got the lead, but he threw it straight back up the inside there, and he's got it back.
Yeah, he needed to, didn't he? I think that was his opportunity. He was still very close. Got the run out of that corner. I think had they gone through that first and second sector, might have just give Freitas enough of a gap to sort of be able to hold on to it. But once again, he'll get the better exit. Use these tyres to full effect. 0.2 of a second coming out. The only saving grace for McFadden, he's coming up to the Jetters, so he'll be able to use them again. The leaders with 2 minutes to go, they'll be dreading the fact that they're here again. Here they are again. Although I think they're going to clear all of them by the time they get to the braking zone, and they have as well.
Clearing traffic is always a pretty treacherous job, and this time they're able to get it done. I'm sure they were fretting because again it was exactly the same cars pretty much as ones we had earlier. No sign of Ryan Walker in this pack, of course, because he had that unsafe pit entry or speeding on entering pit lane. So yeah, he's currently running in fourth, quite a way away from those lead three in the Kias. As here comes Freitas. Freitas looking to the inside, but McFadden clearly cuts it off, and they're trying to lap Robert Lundgren at the same time as well, who goes off in avoidance of them. That is not going to go well. McFadden moving across on the exit of the first corner. Freitas really struggling to find places to go.
Yeah, he got the line all sorts of wrong there as well. Freitas not really knowing what was going on, couldn't quite capitalise on it. The Jetters, look at how close they are as well. I think
Get one more lap after this.
Yeah, I think we're going to squeeze through for one more. So it's very, very close at front of both fields. Clinton Bell 1.1 seconds away from John Roberts as well, so he's not too far behind. He's coming back at him. That last lap was 0.4 of a second as well, so we might have all three classes battling it out on the final lap of the race here. 40 seconds to go. Will they get through? It's going to be quite tight, I have to say.
Well, we saw a fantastic finish in the MotoGP. McFadden slow, he's letting Miguel Freitas through. I don't know whether that is a fuel issue because he is very slow indeed. Is he out? I don't know. But yeah, Freitas takes the lead, and I think McFadden might be in issues here because look at the gap that's being created.
Yeah, I think if Freitas gets through for one more lap, it's going to be a major issue for him as well. There's only 12 seconds to go. So it's going to be very, very close if he does.
I think we will get
this
one more.
Could be curtains for McFadden. 5 seconds. 4, 3. Oh, this is going to be so close. Will the checker come out? No, white flag out. So McFadden in all kinds of trouble.
McFadden's into the pits, so that is not gone at all well. Maybe that was why he was slow after the first pit stop, because he just didn't have enough fuel to get to the end. Alexis Molina also in as well. I think a few drivers have been caught out by this extra lap. Tim Mawson leads, but it's Adam Hedgecock now up the inside for the lead in the Jetters. It's all kicking off here with one lap to go as they're now trying to lap these two fighting Kias of Baxter and Bottas.
Yeah, are they on like super cruise mode as well ahead? Are the Kias? It looks like they probably are. Trying to save the fuel to see if they can make it. It looks to me as if Mawson and Hedgecock have got enough fuel. They don't seem to be conserving it too much out there. So those guys fueled for the run. Freitas well and truly clear, no issues. Woodhouse looks good.
Clinton Bell in, so he's lost. He's going to lose second place, I think, to Dale Green.
And Baxter and Bottas that we're watching as well, very, very close. Baxter surely will get the run. Where is our leader? He's on the back straight for the final time. Just 2 or 3 seconds too quick.
Chris Wood has stopped as well on the pit lane. Tim Mawson and Adam Hedgecock are going wheel to wheel as well. So Freitas quickly take the checker flag so we can have a look at what's going to happen there. Scott Malcolm has towed back to the pits. Has he run out of fuel on the circuit as well? I don't know. But Freitas coming through the final corner. He filled the car up and he's going to be rewarded with victory here in the feature race. Fantastic job from him. Woodhouse is going to get second. Who is going to win this Jetta pack? We
Pulls
do
out
not
fuel
know.
too. Pulls out fuel. Oh, they're all spluttering to the line here. Look, going down the hill. There's three Kias all run out of fuel. Where are the
Baxter.
Jetters?
Here they come. Well, Baxter's going to get Bottas third, Baxter fourth, but it's going to be Hedgecock that wins. Tim Mawson is going to get second, as all the Kias basically run out. Who's left? McFadden, I think, is still running. He's just coming around to complete his race now.
Here comes Roberts. Yeah. He's got no fuel problems. Light in the rear tyres up coming out of the final corner, or the chicane. Sorry. And takes the win in the class there as well. So job well done from him. But what an exciting race at the end there. Fuel it's crazy, just sneaking through there. Really, really changed the dynamic of the race. People having to jump in. So McFadden, who was leading, had the chance, just dropped back to 5th there as well.
What an absolutely crazy finish. Well, Sam, IMSA Sports Car Series, we used to broadcast here on Apex Racing TV, and we used to see quite a few drivers getting caught out with the fuel. Has that ever happened to you before?
Oh, far too many times. But we saw a similar issue, I think, at Monza, didn't we, in the VWs, where they didn't expect another lap. And of course, it came down to, I don't know what it was half a second, wasn't it? Something like that. So you forced that final lap. Otherwise, we could have well seen a different winner. But yeah, it's really unfortunate. But you got to push the fuel to save as much time in the pit stops as possible. And they pushed it, and in the end we got a rather comical finish.
Oh dear, well, yeah, I remember. I've had the issue as well in a Blancpain GT3 series race where I ran out of fuel at Suzuka. Thankfully, I had enough to coast home. Alex, Blancpain GT series driving in the World Championship. I doubt we see that ever happening at all, but I'm sure it's happened to one or two.
Yeah, no, certainly. I've run out of fuel on the final lap of the race in one of the Blancpains as well. They snuck through just and caught us out a little bit, and I tried waiting and letting the leaders go by, but we were so wrong with the fuel. I still needed to pit. So even though we sort of took it on the chin and went a lap down, so it's easy to get these fuel numbers wrong sometimes.
Well, Miguel Freitas didn't get it wrong. He wins the race. Second, Mark Woodhouse. Tristan Bottas finishing in third place in the end with Stephen Baxter, both of them coasting to the line. Michael Hall, he didn't have enough fuel to get to the end. He was able to finish fifth, though. Stuart McFadden came into the pits. He was leading for the majority of the race, but just before the end, the car cried enough, and he came in and threw away a win or second place at best. Then, Scott Malcolm towed to the end. He ran out of fuel about half a lap away from the end of the race. And Chris Wood, we saw parked on the entry into the pit lane. So he ended up being a lap down as well. John Roberts wins the race. Dale Green in second. A win in a second place for Dale Green here at Road Atlanta. I don't know what that's going to do in terms of the championship. I think it's probably going to be exactly the same because I think Roberts got second in race one as well. So probably still is going to be 10 points between them going to Brands Hatch next week. Clinton Bell in third, having to come into the pits for a second time to get that last little bit of fuel to get over the line. Meanwhile, in the Jetters, Adam Hedgecock is able to get the win. Tim Mawson in second place. Good battle between those two towards the line. Ryan Walker gets third despite his pit lane penalty. He was able to get a few positions there. David Ayres finishing in fourth. Alexis Molina didn't have enough fuel to get to the end. He had to come in for a splash and dash at the end. Robert Lundgren, 3 visits to the pits, jumped the start and had to pit for his mandatory stop and then had to pit again, probably because he too was suffering with fuel issues at the end. And Chris White had a crash and failed to finish the race. Well, we do have a few drivers to join us tonight for interviews. We'll start with the Jetters tonight. They've been putting up some really good action. So we'll start with Adam Hedgecock, the winner in the Jetters.
Hi.
Well, it's Adam Squared here. Race 2, feature race. Miguel Freitas comes around to start another lap, and it looks like in all the classes, quite a few drivers got caught out.
I suppose that's the thing when you're competing right on the edge, you want to run on fumes right at the end, really, don't you? Just try and push it to the limit. But yeah, it did seem to catch a few out.
Had you prepared for that? Had you put enough fuel for quite a few more laps?
Well, you can put 2 gallons in a Jetta and it'll do you about 20 laps. So we don't really have a problem. You can easily fuel for an entire race by the time it's taken you to change your tyres. So we don't have issues too often, but sometimes it happens. We saw that last week, of course.
Oh yeah, we saw that there. It looks like problems for Molina on this one. Going into the final race then, you and Tim Mawson, it was 14 points going into this one. You've got a win over Tim in race 2, but I think Tim finished ahead of you in race 1 as well. So it's probably going to be the same amount of points as it was going into this one. Do you still have hope of getting the title next week at Donington?
If drop weeks didn't count, then I would say yes. But unfortunately, early in the season, I had a couple of bad races. Tim's been consistent all season, so I think with drops considered, I don't really stand a chance. But I'll go there with a positive attitude and see if I can't. I'm enjoying a nice podium streak at the moment. So if I can continue that, I'll be happy. Great.
Well, before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anybody?
The team as usual. the boosted guys, great bunch of guys, as you guys know. My mum again, because she'll be watching. And to the Cheese and Wine boys, racing against Ryan and Tim is such a pleasure. It really is. So kudos to them for making it such a fun series.
Well done on the win today, Adam, and yeah, thanks for taking the time to come and speak to us.
Yeah, thank you.
We will move on. Who should we get next, Alex?
Yeah, let's get Ryan up. I mean, he's had a mixed bag today, hasn't he? He's looking really strong for a while. Good evening, Ryan Walker.
Good evening.
How you doing, fella?
Apart from suffering from the flow a little bit, yeah, I enjoyed that this evening.
Good man. Obviously, first race was going well. You made a great move to get to the lead. 2 cars in one. Thank you very much, as they were battling at it. And then, of course, that race was looking so good right up until the final lap. Final lap or penultimate lap? Penultimate lap, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was the penultimate lap. I seen 2 Kias get caught up in front of me on the back straight, and then I seen them hitting the wall, and I thought, please don't bounce back out into the path of me. So I tried to move as far right as possible, but didn't have any luck, and just got collected as I was going by, and then hit the wall, but managed to get the car round to the finish in race 1 and still finish in P3, so it wasn't too bad, I guess.
And the second race tonight, then, I mean, we saw a few people suffer with fuel. I think for the most part, maybe Molina really had to pit in there, so you gained that place on the final lap. But and we were talking to Adam a minute ago. Obviously, with the two gallons of fuel gets you there, no problem, kind of thing. But yeah, were you guys all expecting 1 lap shorter today? I mean, it looked like there was lots of one of the Mustangs, a few of the Kias, and some of the Jettas all had to pit on the last lap.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's some of the. I guess some of the Jettas anyway. I guess they only took two gallons. I guess. But at the pit stop, I decided to go. I decided to go 1 click higher with the fuel just to be safe, and luckily I managed to get to the finish without needing to stop again.
Well, a good clutch of points. Of course, you're not in the championships at the moment running, so are you just sort of trying to sort of support Tim? I mean, I know you've missed a couple of weeks, haven't you? So
yeah, after missing a couple of rounds this season, I've just basically figured out that I won't be in the hunt for the championship. So my job, in my mind anyway, is just to support Tim and try and help him as much as possible, because he's got a better chance at the championship than me. So I'll be supporting him for the rest of the season. So yeah, it would be nice to see Tim win the championship, because he's just, after the luck he had last season, it was terrible. So to see him up there challenging for the championship in the Jetta is nice. So yeah, as I say, I'll be helping him as much as possible, and yeah, we'll just see what happens.
Awesome stuff. Well, no real need to ask if you want to give a shout out. You pretty much covered it there with that little bit there. So thank you very much for jumping in, and we will catch you for the final round of the season.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Walker, everyone.
Thanks to him. We'll move on. I think we'll get them both in. I think to end the evening. We've got Scott Malcolm and Stuart McFadden. We'll start with Stuart. Really good. Yeah. Hello. Race 1. It was a very close. You're barely able to pull away at all, and then with 2 laps to go, you had to end up lapping quite a few Jettas.
Yeah, that was really stressful, especially with Michael putting the pressure on behind. I knew if I made one small mistake, it would be very, very costly. But I kept my head and just got through them sensibly.
Race 2 then built up a very early lead straight away, 2.5 seconds. I think it was almost as big as that. And then towards the end, Freitas got pretty close before the pit stops. Had the tyres gone by that point, or what was going on there?
There was a wee bit of tyre saving and a wee bit of fuel saving, just to try and shorten the pit stop. And then when I got to the pit stop, I took on a wee bit less fuel than ideal. But he took I don't know his name, sorry, but the guy behind me that was in second took the same amount of
Freitas,
fuel.
yeah.
Yeah, that's him. Sorry. He took the same amount of fuel as me, and I gained 3 seconds, which I was really, really happy about. In the pit stop, and I was like, right, okay, that fuel saving really helped me, and it didn't. And then I realised I was going to run out of fuel towards the end. But I think everybody, just saw in the chat just there when I was waiting that Michael Hall said that he's never seen that many people run out of fuel. So I don't think everybody kind of anticipated that this was going to be like a very, very fuel hungry track, to be honest.
Oh, we bring Scott Malcolm in. I think, did you run out of fuel about half a lap before the end of the race?
Yeah, I ran out of fuel as well. First time I've ever done that. Used the same fuel calculations as I've used all season, still ran out of fuel.
I also saw, race 1 for you. You were really on the back of that huge pack that was going on. You had to weave your way around the madness that was going on between the Kias and the Jetters.
I just can't put the finger on it just there. I don't know if it's lack of confidence or what, but I'm at the back and just everybody's just pulling away from me, and I just can't figure it out. I just today.
Stuart, next week we've got Donington Park for the final race meeting of the season. Can we expect to see you there again as well? Because 2 race wins in 2 weeks.
Well, it could have been 3. It could have been 3, but that one's, I'm not even going to remember that one. But possibly, because I'm on my October week this week, and I'm off tomorrow. So I was off last Sunday as well. So I have to get up at stupid o'clock in the morning to get the bus. So a very slim chance unless I'm on the ball all week with timings.
I'll remember that.
And I'm not promising anything because I'm terrible with timings. The only thing I'm good at late is late braking. That's the only thing I'm good at. It's late.
I didn't know whether to say the fuel calculations might be a bit as well. Well, hopefully we get to see you at Donington next week because you've been very good so far this season. But yeah, thanks for taking the time to come and speak to us.
No bother. You know you can talk to me anytime. I like this.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you. See you later.
Stuart Fazano and Scott. Yeah, Donington Park next week. A track that well, surely you know much better than Road Altanta.
Wow. Sorry, did you still want Scott in there?
No.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
No, I mean, what a fitting track to end in. You know, it's all. Whenever we've been there with the Kia, the Jetta too, actually, and the Mustang, we had a good race the first race of the season, and that was the media day, wasn't it? That was very, very good. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a great place to cap the season off. It'll be very, very close. Racing will be good. The drivers know the place really, really well. Just one of those old school circuits, so you know it punishes mistakes and things like that. So a bit more runoff, so we shouldn't see any sort of like disastrous events like we saw today, where people will just ricochet back onto the circuit. But yeah, who knows? We'll never say never.
Well, I think we are just about out of time here. Sam, your closing thoughts on tonight?
Yeah, really good 2 races today. Really good. Of course, there was that big pile up, wasn't there, in the first race, which probably was the highlight of that race. And of course, the finish of the second race amongst the Kias was very entertaining and quite comical as well. So really good day today, and I imagine there's still a couple of championships which will come down to the last couple of rounds at Donington. So yeah, should be a really good end to the season.
Well, yeah, we are just about out of time here. Next week, with the Club 73 Touring Car Championship heads to Donington Park for its final race meeting of the season. We'll be here on Apex Racing TV for that one, and as always, it gets underway just after 9 o'clock. The showdown has already begun in the BSRTC. That goes to its second race meeting there at Watkins Glen. That's on Thursday at 8 p.m. and the BSR MX5 showdown is on Tuesday nights as well. That kick-started last week. And of course, the Ritmos X Sports Car Series, for those of you that like to stay up on Monday night in Europe. We've got that next week at 1:30 a.m. British Summer Time in the morning on Monday night. So make sure you can join us for that one. And yeah, that is all about it here from Road Atlanta, the Club 73 Touring Car Championship. My thanks to Alex, my thanks to Sam for joining me in the commentary box, and thank you everybody for watching. Make sure you drop us a like and press that subscribe as well with your post notifications on, so you can get all these broadcasts before anyone else does. Yeah, the next race meeting is at Donington Park in next week, where the championships will be decided in the Kias, in the Jettas, and in the Mustangs as well. But from all of us here at Road Atlanta, bye for now.